guys. Love Cult. Have been listening for years. Very much like my high school vibe, for sure.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You're like the second generation of someone who can say that, which is
exactly.
really nice.
It's fun. So your sound blends elements of indie pop, dream pop, retro vibes, all that jazz. How do you develop your unique musical style?
I think that our musical style is developed just by our
what we listen to separately.
Yeah, by our like dialogue, you know, like we both. It's actually like a really like kind of nice and like magical thing that like Cults as it stands is like it's like something that just happens when we get together. You know, like when we're like separate, we like listen to a lot of different things, and like when we meet up and start playing music, what catches Maddie's ear and what catches mine, we end up in this like different place that. And it's so funny because we could like get together and like we've done stuff like this. We like try to write like a metal song, and everyone's like, "Oh, it sounds like Cults." You know, like we like can't get away from our own like vibe. But yeah, so like I think it's just like kind of naturally occurs through like the collision of our influences.
Yeah. Who are some of your influences?
Oh jeez.
I think it all started with Leslie Gore. That was like the first record that we both kind of agreed that
the kind of like 60s girl pop thing was like the first thing where we realized that we were both really into it and that like a lot of the people around us were. So we're like, oh, maybe there's something here, like there's something that we're both like tuning into that's kind of like off the beaten path, you know. But then Maddie like showed me lots of other cool music.
Nice.
She knows a lot more than me.
Yeah. How do you guys approach songwriting and production? Do you have any specific processes that you follow, or you just kind of let it happen?
We basically get in a very tiny room and sit there and just experiment for like a month or two, kind of like weeding out what we like and what we don't like and what we want to do differently, and then
we just write until we have a song that clicks. You know, like sometimes it takes months, and then we'll just like until like that one's okay, that one's all right, and then one hits, and we're like, oh, that's it, and then we just like chase the high of that first like, you know, new discovery. But yeah, it's changed a little bit over the years. It's like more. It used to be so frantic. And now we're like, let's meet up. We'll jam. Oh, today didn't work. Okay, we'll try tomorrow. You know, and we have more of like we're more sane.
Can you share some of the inspiration behind some of the tracks on your latest album, To the Ghosts?
I mean, yeah, we like, I don't know, I think we felt more like comfortable with like levity and stuff on this record, but I thought about like there's references to like Harry Nilsson and like kind of like Kraftwerk and their like simplicity of ideas, and but also just like kind of back to ourselves. Like we feel like maybe this is the most like first record that we've done since the last 5 records, and in some ways like getting back to our like early influences of the kind of like 60s pop, whereas like we've been moving into like darker zones and more 80s kind of stuff, and just getting back to like a feeling of like a little bit of like campiness and like fun was like inspiring this time around.
Nice. That's very fun. So what inspired the theme and the title of your album, To the Ghost? And is there a particular story or emotion that ties the album together?
I think it really was kind of came down to the process that the way we recorded this time, which was so much different than any other record we've ever done, where the lyrics were written over probably the span of a year and a half or whatever, and the record's write them in 1 month.
Yeah.
So it kind of was, there was a lot of inspiration of, like, you know, I'd come in one day and, like, there'd be something, you know, my mom would be going through something, or family issues, or moving, you know, there was just, like, a lot of, like, dealing with things from the past. It was COVID, so it was, like, there was a lot of thinking about
shit going down.
The family unit.
Yeah.
And we just had more time. We had more time than we ever had to work on the music because we weren't touring.
Yeah.
So we were like able to kind of like have a more retroactive kind of view of like there's nothing going on. So we're like looking at our like lives and our career and like picking these moments. Like sometimes, you know, she'd be writing something and I'm like, oh, she's writing about something that like 10 years ago. And like usually because everything was so jammed into a short amount of time that the records were always like about one moment in time, and so this is like
a reflection
to the ghosts, like a reflection of the you know, our longer experience.
Yeah, that's very cool. How do you feel To the Ghost represents an evolution of your sound compared to your previous albums? And were there any new musical influences or techniques that you explored with this album?
I think it's the, you know, like getting back to kind of like the first record had like some moments that I think are like genuinely like funny, and then like we got kind of like nervous about that, like we're a serious band, and like we had like a lot to contend with, and then now like being able to re-engage with that side of ourselves in like a confident way, you know, is like a new thing, and it like is an exciting kind of like new era for us as like writers, because it's like closer to who we really are, you know, but at the same time it's like most of the music, like all the, you know, I love like 9 Inch Nails and like bands where I'll just listen to like depressingly dark the entire time, and we still have songs like that, and we feel like that's part of our makeup. But like when we start writing, it's like when we stay in that zone too long, we're like, it's not us, you know, like we gotta like punch it up with some things that are like different, and so it's just like more freedom, I think, you know, and just took us a long time to become ourselves.
I mean, I think that's the case with everybody. No one really knows who they are. I don't know who I am. I don't know. But as a duo, how do you navigate your creative differences, and how do you ensure both of your voices are heard, like in the music and in the creative process?
Well, sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
But, you know, we get through it, and a lot of the time our producer is super helpful in that.
We've worked with the same producer on every record.
Yeah, Shane Stoneback. So he'll kind of...
Our third Beatle.
He's kind of like an interpreter for us. You know, if I'm trying to like figure out what the song needs, I'm trying to explain to him what I want, or he's trying to explain to me what he wants. Shane will kind of come in, and he knows exactly who each of us are, and he's like, okay, I know exactly what it is you want. So Shane is kind of like a bridge when there is conflict. But usually it's just like we said, like we'll get in that room, and for about a month it's like back and forth, like no. And there's like, okay, we both kind of like this, and then we get into a rhythm, and then maybe we have some conflict again, and then Shane comes in and smooths everything out. So
yeah, very nice. I just have like 2 general questions. What advice would you give to any younger artists trying to pursue music?
I would say, like, I know it sounds corny, but you just have to keep going, and it's hard, but like don't hold yourself back. You know, I didn't play guitar for the first few records because I was just so terrified that everybody was going to be like, she sucks. And I decided one day I well, nobody's saying to me my face that I suck, but it feels so much better when you just do it. And even if you feel like you're too old to pick up an instrument or something, you're not. You know, my brother's almost 30 and he just started playing guitar, and it's don't hold yourself back.
I would say too, like, lean into what makes you different. You know, like, you know, when you start a band in like high school, you're like, I like Radiohead, and it's like, yeah, Radiohead's amazing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people
Everyone
like
loves
Radiohead. What do you like that other people maybe don't?
Yeah.
You know, like maybe your dad raised you with like Willie Nelson. Like, explore that. You know, like maybe there's something there. Like, find something that is unique to you but feels real, and just like and get in there, and then people will be curious. You know, like, and it will be like interesting. And so just like think about yourself and think about like what feels unique. You know?
Yeah. And then I just have one last question. Describe your road to Lollapalooza, not like your literal, like, how did you get here? What highway did you take? What did it take for you to get here? Were there any challenges, any memorable moments you want to highlight?
A lot of challenges.
A lot of challenges.
Yeah.
It's just, it's really like, you know, amazing to be back. And we played Lollapalooza for the first time in 2012. 12 or 13, and it was like, my memory of it is just like delirious, you know, like we were like just so overwhelmed and so like grateful and ecstatic and terrified, you know, and so to have a chance to come back, you know, which is like never a given, you know, but to come back and now have like a little bit more poise, and we'll see what happens.
And we also played the COVID Lollapalooza virtual. So.
Oh
yeah. But no, it was just like, it's just an amazing opportunity, and we're just like feels like a major milestone. So we're really like excited and hope that it's not gonna be too hot.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be hot, but it'll be in the shade, and you're playing like later, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You'll be fine. You'll be good. You'll be okay. Is there anything else you guys feel like you want to add?
We're just glad. We love Lollapalooza. We love Chicago.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had an amazing show last night, gearing into it. And we're happy to be here and going to be sad to leave.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's all that I have.
Amazing.